Hello first graders and welcome back. We are going to be diving into Chapter 3, Lesson 10. We are almost at the end of Chapter 3. For today's lesson, you will need 3 items. Your first item will be your GoMath book. Second, you will need your pencil. And last but certainly not least, you are going to need your linker cubes. Once you have all 3 of these items, then we can begin. Let's look at our I can statement for today. It says, I can use the associative property of addition to add 3 add-ins. You're going to learn all about what the associative property is today. Now let's flip to page 133 in our math books. At the top, it says, listen and draw. The directions say, use linker cubes to model the problem. Draw to show your work. Listen to the following problem. Kelly sees 7 birds. Bruno sees 2 birds. Joe sees 3 birds. How many birds do they see? We are going to use our linker cubes to model this problem. The problem said that Kelly sees 7 birds. Let's grab 7 cubes to show 7 birds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The problem also said that Bruno sees 2 birds. Let's grab 2 linker cubes to show 2 birds. 1, 2. The last part of our problem said that Joe sees 3 birds. Let's grab 3 linker cubes to show 3 birds. 1, 2, 3. How many parts are in this story? Let's count all of the parts. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 parts in this story. The question asked us, how many birds do they see? We are going to solve by adding all 3 of these parts. What is the addition sentence going to be? The addition sentence will be 7 plus 2 plus 3. Let's head back to our math page and draw out this problem. First, we started out with 7 cubes. Let's draw 7 cubes on our page. Then, we showed 2 cubes for the 2 birds that Bruno saw. Let's draw 2 cubes. Last but not least, we showed 3 cubes to represent the 3 birds that Joe saw. Let's draw 3 cubes. Now we have the 3 parts in our story.
Remember, we figured out the addition sentence is
7 plus 2 plus 3. How can we find the sum with 3 numbers or 3 add-ins? That's something we haven't done before. Well, we can start by only adding 2 of the numbers at a time. Let's choose the first 2 add-ins to add at the same time. Let's add 7 plus 2 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now let's add 3 more. We're going to count on 3 more from 9. 10, 11, 12. We just added 3 add-ins by starting out with 2 numbers and getting the sum of 9 then adding our third number and getting a sum of 12. That means 7 plus 2 plus 3
equals 12.
How many birds do they see? 12 birds.
Now we have our quantity, which is 12, and our units, which is birds.
Let's all turn to page 134 in our math books. At the top, we see the words model and draw. The first problem says 2 plus 3 plus 1. Underneath, it says add 2 and 3, then add 1. First, we are going to add 2, which is the green cubes, and 3, which is shown by the red cubes. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Then the directions say, then add 1. There is one blue cube, which represents the number 1. 5 plus 1. 5 plus 1 equals a sum. 5 plus 1 equals 6. That is our first problem. Now let's turn our attention to this green cloud right next door. It says, you can change which two addends you add first. The sum stays the same. This is where we get to use something called the associative property. We can change which two numbers we add, but the answer will still be the same. The directions say add 3 and 1, then add 2. Notice we have the same exact cubes and numbers in both problems. This time, we are going to add 3 and 1 first. 3 and 1 make 4. The next part of our directions say, then add 2. We are now going to add 2. Now our problem says 2 plus 4. Let's add. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Notice we have the same answer when we solved it two different ways. We can change which two addends to add first, and the sum still stays the same. Now let's take a look at the bottom part of our page. It says, share and show. Use linker cubes to change which two addends you add first. Complete the addition sentences. Number 1 says, 5 plus 2 plus 3. We are going to start by adding this first cube train here because it is connected as one long cube train. That shows us which two addends we're going to add first. 5 plus 2. Let's count and see what 5 plus 2 is first. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The green and red cubes, or the 5 plus 2, give us 7. Let's write 7 on the first line of our addition sentence. We added our first two addends. Now let's take a look at our next addend. It says plus 3, and the linker cubes show us 3 here. So we just need to add 3. Now our addition sentence says 7 plus 3. 7 plus 3 equals 10. That's right. If you said 10, Give yourself a huge pat on the back. 7 and 3 make 10. That means that 5 plus 2 plus 3 is also 10 because we just solved the problem by first adding 2 addends and adding another, but it's still the same exact problem. Your job is going to be to change which 2 addends you add first on this side. Notice that this time the cube trains look different. This cube train shows us which 2 addends you will add first. Draw a caret underneath that cube train so you know which 2 addends to add first here. When you're finished with those 2 addends, then you are going to add the green cubes right underneath. Your last step will be to add and write the sum. For number 2, it says 3 plus 4 plus 6. You are also going to use the cube trains to help you know which 2 addends to add first. For example, on this first one, circle the cube train that is put together here. Then you are going to draw a caret so you know exactly where this cube train's sum will go. Again, your second step will be to write the number represented by this cube train. Draw an arrow so you know where this number will go. You will follow the same routine for the second part. Circle the cube train that is put together. That cube train will show you which 2 addends you will add first. When you're finished circling that cube train, draw a little caret right underneath so you know where to write that sum. And of course, you are going to add the rest by adding the number that is shown by these blue cubes. Draw an arrow so you know where this number will go. And of course, at the end, you are going to write the sum. Ooh, also add in that circle there right underneath the caret. There we go. All right, go ahead and pause the video here. Take a few minutes to complete these problems, and then we will check back in when you're all finished. You got this. All right, now that you're finished, let's check out how we did on these problems. For number 1, you should have looked at this cube train that showed us red cubes and blue cubes put together. Right underneath that caret, you should have written the sum 5. Underneath the green cubes, you should have written the number 5. There are 5 green cubes there. You should have gotten the sum 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. Now let's take a look at number 2. Underneath that caret, you should have written the number 10. The red and blue cubes show us 10. Right underneath the green cubes, you should have written 3. There are 3 green cubes there. 3 plus 10 equals a sum 13. Now, your last problem was this one right next door, which shows the same numbers but in a different order. In that cube train, we see that there are 7 cubes. So underneath the caret, you should have written the number 7. The second part of your addition sentence is shown by the blue cubes. In the blue cube train, we see that there are 6 cubes. So underneath the arrow for the blue cubes, you should have written 6. 7 plus 6 equals the sum 13. Notice that for number 1 and for number 2, we solved in different ways. For number 1, we got the same answer of 10. The only thing that was different is that we changed the 2 addends that we added first. In number 2, it was the same thing. We changed which 2 addends we added first, but the sum still stays the same, which was 13.
That is the magic of the associative property of addition. We can change the 2 addends that we add first, but we still get the same answer.
Now let's turn to page 135. At the top it says, on your own. The directions say, look at the linker cubes. Complete the addition sentences showing 2 ways to find the sum. Number 3 says, 7 plus 3 plus 1 equals a sum. Let's take a look at the cubes. So for this one, you are going to start with this cube train to add those 2 addends together, which is 3 red cubes and 1 blue cube. Don't forget to write or to draw a caret underneath to remind yourself where that sum will go. Then, of course, you're going to add the rest of the cubes. The rest of the cubes are these green cubes here, which will be the other addend.
Follow along with me as I draw circles and carets and arrows to guide you on where our numbers are going to be coming from.
Also on number 5, there is already a caret drawn here for you. Use the caret to help you know where that sum will go for those 2 addends. Then you will bring down the next addend right underneath. Same for the second part. Use the caret to help you know where that sum will go. And then of course bring down the next addend to add here.
We are actually going to work on number 6 together.
It says, I used linker cubes to model 3 addends. Use my model. Write the 3 addends. So we see right next door our blue friend here used some linker cubes to model 3 addends. And it says, my model. He's pretty proud of his model. So we have green cubes and we have blue cubes. Let's count and see what the addends are that he used to show the problem. Let's take a look at how many green cubes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. The green cubes represent the number 4. Let's write the number 4 as our first addend. Now let's count the blue cubes. How many blue cubes are there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. The blue cubes represent the addend 3. So let's add the number 3 to our addition sentence. Where is the third addend? Do you see any other cubes of a different color? You should be shaking your head. No, there are no other cubes of a different color. That means our final and third addend is 0. 4 plus 3 plus 0 equals 7. So your job now is to do numbers 3, 4, and 5. I know you can do it. Great job finishing Chapter 3, Lesson 10 with me. Remember to turn in page 135 here on Seesaw. I will see all of you very, very soon. Bye!